is Jackie with Intoxicating Arts, and today we're making a card using some Avery Elle stamps. This stamp set is called Holiday Glass, and I'm using the holly leaf image from the stamp set to do the entire background of this card. And I'm using some archival ink here just because I'm going to be stamping on a piece of acetate, and that will be permanent on the acetate or other non-porous surfaces. If you don't have archival ink, you can use StazOn, and that will work just as well. That is permanent on non-porous surfaces as well. And I think there's also some other inks out there that work, but I can't think of them at the moment. So I'm going to start from bottom to top is how I'm stamping this, and I'm not being very particular about the placement of my images, but a lot of people, when they do a full background like this, they like to start from the center and work their way towards the edges. And you might want to do that if you're a little bit more particular about spacing. But what I did was I just rotated the image around as I was going, and I just kind of wanted a very abstract, loose look. I wasn't very concerned about the spacing of them. Some of them are really close to each other, some are a little bit further apart. So I got my first image stamped down there in the bottom left, and that one came out good. My second one that I'm about to do, you'll see it doesn't come out quite perfect, and that's actually one of the awesome things about stamping on acetate is you can fix these problems. Even though I'm using this stamp press and I do try to just go right over top of it, it's still too hard to line that image up a second time, and I end up just having a double stamped, blurry, horrible looking image. So the way to fix that is to actually just put some alcohol, some rubbing alcohol on a cloth of some sort and just wipe it right off. So that's just a little tip for you. Makes it a lot less scary to stamp without a MISTI or a stamping tool when you know that you can fix problems like that pretty easily. So there you can see I double stamped it and it looks horrible. But again, super quick fix. And here you'll see it get wiped away. So I'm going to finish stamping the entire background here, and as you can see, I just made sure to flip the stamp around a couple different times, and you want some of your images to run off the edges. And the next step is coloring them in. So I'm using some chameleon pens today. I actually only own the chameleon pens in red and green, so that worked out perfect for me for this card. You can use any alcohol-based markers. And for the leaf images, I found it easiest to actually just go along the edges first and then just fill it in. So that made it a little bit easier for me to not go outside of the images. And I could just very quickly and loosely color all of these images in. Made it take not quite as long. And then for the red that I did for the berries, I just go in circular motions, working from inside to out. So you'll see that in a moment here. Got my red one. If you don't have chameleon pens, just some other examples are Spectrum Noir, Copics, Bic, Sharpie. Those are all going to be alcohol based, and they will stick to the acetate and not rub off. So I don't have any of those awesome frame dies that make it super easy to make a shaker card. So I'm trying something out today that I just kind of came up with. Got my Martha Stewart scoreboard out, and I figured I would just make some score lines at the half-inch mark, and then that way I can know where I need to cut my frame. But then I was like, it'd be kind of cool to just make a design on here. So I did the score lines on every 1/8 of an inch. So I have 4 lines on each side of the card, and it just gave it a little extra design that I thought was pretty cool. And then after I do that to all 4 sides of the piece, I can take it over to my paper trimmer, and I have a rotary paper trimmer, so it makes it kind of hard to line up exactly where it's beginning and ending. So I just use the paper trimmer kind of to move things along a little bit quicker, but I actually finish it up using a X-Acto knife. So you'll see that here. I just kind of went down, you know, there might actually be a way to see where it ends and stops, but I don't know how. So anyways, I just wanted to be safe and make sure that I wasn't cutting too far. So I just took that X-Acto knife and finished it off. But since this is a white core paper, I end up with these white pieces here and there, and that was really easy to fix. I just got my Distress ink in black soot and went along the whole thing and fixed that. You're going to want to make a dam around that piece of acetate using some foam tape, and I have black foam tape that I use for that purpose, but it doesn't matter, it can be white. And you want to make sure there's no little cracks that your pieces can get out. I'm using some gold chunky glitter for this. I just thought it would look perfect with the holly leaves and the fact that it's kind of like a stained glass look. And then I threw a few silver stars in there just for a little something extra. Then you can pull the back of the tape off and put some kind of support piece on the back. For this, I chose to go with white because I knew that would really accentuate the glitter and the coloring that we did. And it really makes it super bright and awesome looking. So now you have this super ugly tape showing, and that's why we made that frame to go on top of it. And before we put the frame on, we're going to stamp our sentiment. And this sentiment is from the Merriest stamp set by Avery Elle. And there's a ton of awesome sentiments in here for the holidays. And I'm stamping that on a piece of vellum using VersaFine ink. And then I will just dip that into some clear embossing powder to set it. And I'll just cut this out from this little scrap that I have here. And the reason I wanted to use some vellum is so that it would show up a little bit on the background that we made, and then I can just tape it on the frame there on the back and you won't see any of the glue or adhesive. So I'm just running the ATG gun over it to put the tape on there. And then pop that on my frame, and then I can run my ATG gun along the entire piece right here so we can put the black frame on top, and we're almost done with the card. So putting the frame on there, and you can instantly see that vellum actually really makes those holly leaves underneath it pop, which is really cool, and it makes me want to make one with like just a full sheet of vellum over it. Maybe not a shaker card though, because it will hide too much of that awesome shaker element on the inside. So I'm just going to shake this around a little bit for you here so you can see it. It's kind of cool how when all the glitter takes up the whole card, it looks different than when the glitter is just towards the bottom of the card. It's interesting and weird and cool. So I really like how this came out. I hope I inspired you, and I will have links to everything below. I do sell Avery Elle stamps, and I definitely will be making some more cards with their stamps as well because I'm definitely a fan. I'll see you guys real soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!